In this comment, Odaveth is saying something that I agree with, which is that there are plenty of ways to let a reader know that a particular character is speaking without using the dialogue tag he said or she said. However, the example that Odaveth gives does have something in it that I would flag if I were line editing. It's not at all my intention to pick on this commenter or for this video to read as a knock. This is just something I see a lot of in manuscripts, and I'd like to take the opportunity to talk about it. This line reads, "John hesitated for a moment. Why would I do that? The words came from his mouth unexpectedly." The dialogue line itself is sandwiched between two other sentences. The first one, the hesitation, is an action beat. The second one, the words came from his mouth unexpectedly, that's narration that kind of does the job of a dialogue tag. There are three things going on here that I'd like to point out. The first thing is that there's a little bit of an inherent contradiction between the action beat and the narration beat that are framing this line of dialogue. The action beat says that John's hesitating, but then the narration says that the words come from his mouth unexpectedly, almost like a quick reaction, speaking before you think kind of thing. It's unlikely that you're going to have both of those things framing one single dialogue beat. Hesitation and then thoughtless speaking, right? This would probably be stronger or more cohesive if you picked one or the other. To that end, my second point is that this is something we'd call a double tag or double attribution. If you have the action beat of John hesitating, then the dialogue line that's on the same line as that action beat must be spoken by John. We don't therefore need the narration to tell us that those words came from John's mouth because we already know. It's included in the same paragraph as that action. That paragraph belongs to John. John is the one who's speaking. So if I were line editing, I would cut this down to John hesitated. Why would I do that? Or alternatively, if the thoughtlessness and the quick speech without thinking is the point, then a said bookism might be appropriate. Like, why would I do that? John blurted. Or if the thoughtlessness is otherwise implied by the context, then you could just leave it untagged entirely. The third point, which is a nitpick, is a punctuation thing. John's hesitation is an action beat, not a dialogue tag. Because of this, both John hesitated and John hesitated for a moment are complete sentences that should be ended with a period. Then the dialogue in quotes, "Why would I do that?" is its own complete sentence. Contrast that with a front-loaded dialogue tag like, John asked, "Why would I do that?" In this case, John asked is not a complete sentence on its own, so we would separate it with the comma instead of the period. I hope that's helpful. Thank you to Odaveth for providing this example. And as always, this is Tips from a Fiction Editor. Like and follow for more.